These are the hidden sayings that the living Yeshua spoke, and Yehuda Toma the twin recorded. And he said, "Whoever discovers what these sayings mean will not taste death."
Yeshua says, "Seek and do not stop seeking until you find. When you find, you will be troubled. When you are troubled, you will marvel and rule over all."
Yeshua says, if your leaders tell you, "Look, the kingdom is in heaven," then the birds of heaven will precede you. If they say to you, "It's in the sea," then the fish will precede you. But the kingdom is inside you, and it is outside you. When you know yourselves, then you will be known, and you will understand that you are children of the living Father. But if you do not know yourselves, then you dwell in poverty, and you are poverty.
Yeshua says, "A person old in days will not hesitate to ask a little child 7 days old about the place of life, and the person will live. For many of the first will be last and become a single one."
Yeshua says, "Know what is in front of your face, and what is hidden from you will be disclosed. There is nothing hidden that will not be revealed."
Yeshua says, do not lie and do not do what you hate. All things are disclosed before heaven. There is nothing hidden that will not be revealed, nothing covered that will remain undisclosed.
And he says, "People are like a wise fisherman who cast his net into the sea and drew it up from the sea full of little fish. Among the fish he found a fine large fish. He threw all the little fishes back into the sea and easily chose the large fish. Whoever has ears to hear should hear."
Yeshua says, "I have thrown fire upon the world, and look, I am watching till it blazes."
Yeshua says, this heaven will pass away, and the one above it will pass away. The dead are not alive, and the living will not die. During the days when you ate what is dead, you made it alive. When you are in the light, what will you do? On the day when you were one, you became two. But when you become two, what will you do?
Yeshua said to his students, "Compare me to something and tell me what I am like." Shimon Kepha said to him, "You are like a just messenger." Mattai said to him, "You are like a wise philosopher." Thomas said to him, "Rabbi, my mouth is utterly unable to say what you are like." Yeshua said, "I am not your rabbi. Because you have drunk, you are intoxicated from the bubbling spring I tended."
Yeshua says to them, "If you fast, you will bring sin upon yourselves. And if you pray, you will be condemned. And if you give to charity, you will harm your spirits. When you go into any region and walk through the countryside, and people receive you, eat what they serve you, and heal the sick among them. What goes into your mouth will not defile you, but what comes out of your mouth will defile you."
Yeshua says, when you see one not born of woman, fall on your faces and worship. That is your Father.
Yeshua says, "People may think I have come to impose peace upon the world. They do not know that I have come to impose conflicts upon the earth, fire, sword, war. For there will be 5 in a house. There will be 3 against 2, and 2 against 3, father against son, and son against father, and they will stand alone."
Yeshua says, "I shall give you what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, what no hand has touched, what has not arisen in the human heart."
The students said to Yeshua, tell us how our end will be. Yeshua says, Have you discovered the beginning and now are seeking the end? Where the beginning is, the end will be. Blessings on you who stand at the beginning. You will know the end and not taste death.
Yeshua says, blessings on you who came into being before coming into being. If you become my students and hear my sayings, these stones will serve you. For there are 5 trees in paradise for you, summer or winter. They do not change, and their leaves do not fall. Whoever knows them will not taste death.
The students said to Yeshua, "Tell us what the kingdom of heaven is like." He says to them, "It is like a mustard seed, the tiniest of seeds. But when it falls on prepared soil, it produces a great plant and becomes a shelter for the birds of heaven."
Yeshua says, I shall choose you as 1 from 1,000, and as 2 from 10,000, and they will stand as a single one.
His students said, show us the place where you are. We must seek it. He says to them, whoever has ears should hear. There is light within a person of light, and it shines on the whole world. If it does not shine, it is dark.
Yeshua says, love your brother like your soul. Protect that person like the pupil of your eye.
Yeshua says, you see the speck in your brother's eye, but not the beam in your own eye. When you take the beam out of your own eye, then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye.
Yeshua says, I took my stand in the midst of the world, and I appeared to them in flesh. I found them all drunk, yet none of them thirsty. My soul ached for the human children because they are blind in their hearts and do not see. They came into the world empty and seek to depart from the world empty. But now they are drunk. When they shake off their wine, they will repent.
Yeshua says, a prophet is not accepted in the hometown. A doctor does not heal those who know the doctor.
Yeshua says, a city built upon a high hill and fortified cannot fall, nor can it be hidden.
Yeshua says, no one lights a lamp and puts it under a basket, nor in a hidden place. You put it on a stand so that all who come and go will see its light.
Yeshua says, if a blind person leads a blind person, both will fall into a hole.
His students said, when will you appear to us, and when shall we see you? Yeshua says, when you strip naked without being ashamed, and take your clothes and put them under your feet like small children and trample them, then you will see the child of the living one, and you will not be afraid.
Yeshua says, often you wanted to hear these sayings I am telling you, and you have no one else from whom to hear them. There will be days when you will seek me, and you will not find me.
Yeshua says, if 2 make peace with each other in one house, they will tell the mountain, move, and the mountain will move.
Yeshua says, blessings on you who are alone and chosen, for you will find the kingdom. You have come from it and will return there again.
Yeshua says, if they say to you, where have you come from? Say to them, we have come from the light, from the place where the light came into being by itself, established itself, and appeared in their image. If they say to you, is it you? Say, we are its children and the chosen of the living Father. If they ask you, what is the evidence of your Father in you? Say to them, it is motion and rest.
His students said to him, when will the dead rest? When will the new world come? He says to them, what you look for has come, but you do not know it.
His students said to him, "Is circumcision useful or not?" He says to them, "If it were useful, fathers would produce their children already circumcised from their mothers, but the true circumcision in spirit is altogether valuable."
Yeshua says, "Blessings on you, the poor, for yours is the kingdom of heaven."
Yeshua says, "Whoever has come to know the world has discovered a carcass. And whoever has discovered a carcass, of that person the world is not worthy."
Yeshua says, "Blessings on the person who has labored and found life."
Yeshua says, "Look to the living one as long as you live, or you may die and try to see the living one, and you will not be able to see."
Yeshua says, "Two will rest on a couch. One will die, one will live." Salome said, "Who are you? You have climbed on my couch and eaten from my table as if you are from someone." Yeshua said to her, "I am the one who comes from what is whole. I was given from the things of my Father." Salome said, "I am your student." Yeshua says, "I say, if you are whole, you will be filled with light. But if divided, you will be filled with darkness."
Yeshua says, "I disclose my mysteries to those who are worthy of my mysteries. Do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing."
Yeshua says, "One who knows all but lacks within is utterly lacking."
Yeshua says, "Blessings on you when you are hated and persecuted, and no place will be found wherever you are persecuted."
Yeshua says, "Blessings on you who have been persecuted in your hearts. Only you truly know the Father. Blessings on you who are hungry, that the stomach of someone else in want may be filled."
Yeshua says, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you have will save you. If you have nothing within you, what you do not have within you will kill you."
Yeshua says, "There are many standing at the door, but those who are alone will enter the wedding chamber."
Yeshua says, "The Father's kingdom is like a merchant who owned a supply of merchandise and found a pearl. The merchant was prudent. He sold his goods and bought the single pearl for himself. So with you, seek his treasure that is unfailing and enduring, where no moth comes to devour and no worm destroys."
Yeshua says, "I am the light over all things. I am all. From me all has come forth, and to me all has reached. Split a piece of wood, I am there. Lift up the stone, and you will find me there."
Yeshua says, "Whoever is near me is near fire, and whoever is far from me is far from the kingdom."
Yeshua says, "You see images, but the light within them is hidden in the image of the Father's light. He will be disclosed, but his image is hidden by his light."
Yeshua says, "When you see your likeness, you are happy. But when you see your images that came into being before you, and that neither die nor become visible, how much you will bear."
Yeshua says, "Foxes have their dens and birds have their nests, but the human child has no place to lay his head and rest."
Yeshua says, "How miserable is the body that depends on a body, and how miserable is the soul that depends on both."
Yeshua says, "Why do you wash the outside of the cup? Don't you understand that the one who made the inside also made the outside?"
Yeshua says, "Come to me, for my yoke is easy and my mastery gentle, and you will find rest for yourselves."
They said to him, "Tell us who you are so that we may believe in you." He says to them, "You examine the face of heaven and earth, but you have not come to know the one who is in your presence, and you do not know how to examine this moment."
Yeshua says, "Seek and you will find." In the past, I did not tell you the things about which you asked me. Now I am willing to tell you, but you do not seek them.
Yeshua says, one who seeks will find. For one who knocks, it will be opened.
Yeshua says, "If you have money, do not lend it at interest, but give it to someone from whom you will not get it back."
Yeshua says, the Father's kingdom is like a woman who took a little yeast, hid it in dough, and made large loaves of bread. Whoever has ears should hear.
Yeshua says, the Father's kingdom is like a woman who was carrying a jar full of meal. While she was walking along a distant road, the handle of the jar broke and the meal spilled behind her along the road. She did not know it. She noticed no problem. When she reached her house, she put the jar down and found it empty.
The students said to him, "Your brothers and your mother are standing outside." He says to them, "Those here who do the will of my Father are my brothers and my mother. They will enter my Father's kingdom."
Those who do not hate their father and mother, as I do, cannot be my students. And those who do not love their father and mother, as I do, cannot be my students. For my mother gave me falsehood, but my true mother gave me life.
Yeshua says, whoever knows the father and the mother will be called the child of a whore.
Yeshua says, "When you make two into one, you will become human children. When you say, 'Mountain, move,' the mountain will move."
Yeshua says, the kingdom is like a shepherd who had 100 sheep. One of them, the largest, went astray. He left the 99 and looked for the one until he found it. After so much trouble, he said to the sheep, "I love you more than the 99.
Yeshua says, whoever drinks from my mouth will become like me. I myself shall become that person, and the hidden things will be revealed to that one.
Yeshua says, "You who have found the world and become wealthy, renounce the world."
Yeshua says, the heavens and the earth will roll up in your presence, and you who live from the living one will not seek death. Doesn't Yeshua say this? Whoever has found oneself of that person, the world is not worthy.
His students said to him, when will the kingdom come? Yeshua says, it will not come because you are watching for it. No one will announce, look, here it is, or look, there it is. The Father's kingdom is spread out upon the earth, and people do not see it.